Yo, yo, yo. The boys back. NBA.
We're here.
1 more week of game. 2 more weeks of games. And then it's playoff time.
Well, a week and a half.
Week and a half,
Next
technically.
Sunday. Next Sunday marks the end of the regular season.
And then it's playoffs.
We're waiting.
Playoffs?
I'm getting very excited about it.
Yeah. Should be a good time. See what happens.
That reminds me, I don't think I got an email about the tickets today.
Nice.
I just remember that right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, at least you remembered.
Okay, well, I'll have to check that after this. But anyways, week and a half left. That means teams have about 7-ish games left for the regular season. Teams are making their push. Some have 6, some have 7. I'm not sure if anybody has 8.
No,
But
most would probably have 7 or 6.
Most
yeah.
have 6 or 7. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So quick run through because I believe did that last week as well.
Mm-hmm.
However, starting in the East, as we mentioned last time, Celtics are locked in. Really, where we're focused right now are seeds 4 through 7. So that means
Kind of 8 though, right? With Joel being back? Or do you think they're too far behind?
No, I think they're too far behind to get out
out of the plane.
to get out of the plane.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we're looking at 4 through 7. That's where we're going to put most of our emphasis and focus on today.
Mm-hmm.
In those 4 seeds, 3 out of the 4 are going to be out of the play-in, so they'll be in the postseason without having to win a game. They're separated by 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
So right now the Heat are the odd team out. They're in the play-in as the 7th seed, but they're only a half game behind the Pacers, who are currently the 6th seed. So it's heating up here. I believe we had asked about the Magic being able to catch the Cavs to push us into a Cavs-Knicks rematch series from last year.
Yeah. I don't think we want that.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen either. It could, I mean...
So the question would be, can either of those teams catch the Cavs at 3? Or do you think that 4, 5, 6, the only way that they can finish is either stuck or down? I
would say the Cavs are probably there, and then 4 and 5, well, they have the same record.
Man, I hope the other way that
the
it
Pacers
could happen.
Could slip up.
Yeah, the other way that it could happen is the Pacers catch the Knicks drop down to 6, and then the Knicks play 3-6.
We don't want the Cavs in
We
this
don't?
series. No. I mean, I will say this, when you do look at, I mean, the Pacers do play the Cavs the second to last game, but besides that, they play Nets, not hard. Thunder, decent. Heat will be a good game because that could drop them below.
Hey, the Heat do have an easy schedule coming up, though.
Yeah, and then they play the Raptors, then the Cavs, and the Hawks. So they have a decent, easy games. But if you're playing the Heat,
decently easy games, yeah. Check the Heat schedule, though.
That would be.
Tell the people that schedule, because.
Well, I know they play the Sixers this week.
And I know that they end with 2 games against the Raptors, so that's easy.
Yeah, you got Sixers, Rockets,
win,
Pacers.
Hard
That's a
game.
Toss-up.
Yep.
At the Hawks,
win.
Mavericks,
Hard game.
and then Raptors. At home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They finished with back-to-back home games against the Raptors. I mean, if you look at that, 76ers now a somewhat challenging game, but you got win, challenge, win. They're guaranteed 4 wins right there.
Yeah, this is the big one. If they can beat the Pacers, they
beat
can
the Pacers. They're going to move up into the 6th seed. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to look at the West now. Top 3 locked in, no problem. We're looking at seeds 5 through 8 currently. We got the Mavericks at 5, Pelicans at 6, Kings at 7, Suns at 8. Those 4 teams are separated by 1 game.
Yeah.
And you got 2 making the playoffs, 2 being stuck in the play-in. So this is not where you want to be, honestly, going down the stretch, being in this little foursome.
No, it's definitely not. I think it's very tough because your first game, well, if you make the play-in, I mean, those 4 teams that are, if it stopped right now, and you had Kings, Suns, Lakers, Warriors, if you didn't tell me that they were in the play-in, you would probably be like, okay, these 4 teams are probably in the play. I mean, those probably were projected to be in the playoffs.
And you still think that the Kings are going to make it?
I do still think the Kings are going to make it. I think the Warriors, if they get to play the Warriors.
No, they don't. They play the Suns.
Oh, the Suns first. Yeah, that's tough. But I also think the Suns could make a little push here and move up. They get to play the Mavericks, and then Timberwolves obviously finish out the year, but
they play the Suns twice.
I think they play the Mavericks. You saying the Mavericks?
No, the Wolves. Don't they play the...
Yeah, they play them twice. They have a tough schedule, though. They play Clippers twice, Kings.
Yeah, they play the Wolves twice, dog.
And the Pelicans. They actually play every team that's in the playoffs.
They have, like, the hardest schedule.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah,
so you think they're still going to get out of the plane?
The Suns?
Yeah.
No, but I think the Kings will win. I'm standing on that throne. I think the Kings will win if they play them in the one game in the play.
Well, that would be lovely because currently our Wolves are the 2 seed, and that would mean that they would play the Kings.
Right. So
that's what we want.
Yeah, because then you have the Lakers, Warriors. Wow.
That's my
crazy.
That's my number one match. No. My number one matchup for us is probably.
I think the Mavericks. I know you.
No
that
way.
But they're
No way.
I also the Clippers.
No
chance.
No
I know the Clippers. No.
There's no chance that we'll play the Clippers.
Probably if you think about it, the Warriors.
Of who we play, the Warriors aren't even going to be in it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If you're looking at these 10 teams, who would be our best matchup? If they somehow snuck in?
I'm kind of looking at the top 8.
Oh, it'd probably be the Kings or the Pelicans, but the Pelicans aren't.
Kings or the Pelicans for sure.
Yeah.
For me, not for you.
I mean, they need to have the 2. I mean, not need. It would be very beneficial to have the 2 seed so you get 2 home series. I mean, when you're 27.
Why not the 1? You still get 2.
No, and the 1 or 2.
Yeah.
2 or better, I should have said.
Yeah.
Because then you get 2 home series, which is huge.
Yeah.
Especially come playoff time, the place is rocking.
That would be huge.
So.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I'm going. I don't know who we'd rather match up with.
Probably
I mean,
Pelicans.
Brandon Ingram's hurt until probably the playoffs, so maybe he'll be a little rusty. But I feel like he always just kills us.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine this year.
I think the Kings, because we'll put Jaden on De'Aaron Fox, and we'll have Rudy guarding Sabonis, and we're good to go.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's what I'm going with. But those are the 4 teams to watch. There's probably going to be limited movement outside of those 4 teams. I mean, the top 3 are just shuffling around literally every night. So one night you might look at it, the Nuggets are the 1 seed. The next night you might look at it, and the Thunder are the 1 seed. The next night you might look at it, and the Wolves are the 1 seed. So literally all 3 of those teams are just shuffling around. And I feel like every night, 1 team's in the 1 team's in 2, 1 team's in 3. The next night, completely flipped around. So, literally, you can just wait until next Saturday and look at it right before the last day, and then you'll probably get all you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, this game when we play Denver on the 10th will be a very big game.
That's a big game, and then we finish with the Suns, and that's going to be a big game.
Yeah, because they also finish with the Spurs and the Grizzlies.
Right.
Dog water.
Yeah, they play the Clippers and the
Hawks.
Clippers and the Wolves are their only challenging games.
Right.
So, honestly, if I had to say, Nuggets will probably end up at 1. I think we'll be number 2 because the Thunder play the Celtics, and they play the Bucks and the Mavs
Kings.
and the Kings.
Woo!
Kings are decent, but
they're playing a game.
Celtics, Bucks, Mavericks. We hope that they lose those 3 games, and then
The only thing that's benefiting the Thunder is their last 4 games are all at home. The Celtics will. That's not great for them. Pacers, Hornets is
right. Yeah. So
yeah.
we'll see. All right, moving on. Last week, news broke. Issues with the ownership transition for the Wolves. We got a he said, they said.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't.
With the 2 versus the 1, but
I've only seen one side of the story too, so I hate to be that guy.
Which side did you see?
Oh, the A-Rod, Mark Lawler.
on Dave Moore podcast.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I did watch it. It was very interesting.
It was interesting.
It was very interesting, but it's also kind of interesting. I mean, it kind of just showed how not of a great guy.
Well, I mean, that's going off of the one side.
But I'm just saying, if people are already warning you about him before, like that's probably not a good sign for an owner, and especially also, why wait till now and then all of a sudden at the last second, like, dude, just give it up. You're older than, I don't know. I don't want to be mean to the guy, but
yeah, don't be mean.
I'm not being mean, but the guy, just give it up. It's not a bad thing. You've done your time. You've done whatever. Who cares?
Who knows? It may not be him. He's just the one that's the face of it. But it might be other people, most likely his investors, that are saying, hey, this team is worth way more than what you sold it for or what we sold it for. We want more money. And he's just the one that's in the transition of ownership because he's the
face
or the controlling person.
Yeah, but wasn't there a contract in place?
There was a contract. It's to bring everybody up to speed. If you have not kept up with it, there is currently 2 different interpretations of how the contract is written. So basically, what Glenn Taylor was looking for was, or his interpretation of the contract was that, so since they started the transition 2 to 3 years ago, there were dates that they would purchase a percentage of the team, right? So like on this day, A-Rod and Mark Laurie would purchase 20% of the team. On this day, however many months in the past that first date, they would purchase an additional 20% of the team. So they're at 40% of the team at this point, right? On March 27th, a couple days ago or last week, they would purchase 40% of the team, so they'd be at 80%. Obviously, that would make them the controlling owner, right? The majority ownership for the 2, and then they would, in a future date, purchase the final 20%. So then they would get to 100%. And so Glenn Taylor's interpretation of the contract, based off of what has been said, is that he thought on March 27th that Laurie and A-Rod would have to pay the money for that 40% stake, plus get approval from the NBA, and basically like the money's in his account, the transition has been made, and they have 80% of the team on March 27th. However, A-Rod and Mark Laurie have said that their interpretation of the contract is that the purchasing agreement, or I'm not exactly sure on the exact terms or like the wording of it, but like theirs interpretation is that they had to submit the money, basically send the invoice and send the documentation to the league office, and then that automatically triggers an additional block of time. It's either 60 or 90 days for the league to make the decision on if they're approved to be the new owners of the TWolves. So that's their interpretation. Obviously, I mean, interpretation is one thing, but based off of how the contract is written, then at least I feel like it's going to be pretty easy to know which interpretation is right. You just look at the contract. Obviously, this is being done by lawyers, so they'll read it. But I feel like the point of the contract is to take out the interpretation piece of it and go off of how it's written. So, I mean, personally,
I also don't know if it should have been public like it was.
Well, that's what.
Why keep it in? Why not keep it in? I mean, I get it. Okay, so the thing about it, what's crazy
that
is
was Glenn's doing.
And that's kind of the weird part of it, where it's like, why did he make it so public? And also, this is like I said,
it wasn't a great look.
From hearing the A-Rod and Mark Laurie side of it,
mm-hmm.
It's like the way he did it, where he basically was just like, hey, you have no further communication. You're completely cut off from everything. If that's accurate, that's also a shady thing to do. Like, they're still minority owners. So you're basically now cutting them off and saying, hey, you'll never become the majority owners. You're still minority owners. You paid a ton of money to this. Now you have no access to the team, no access to anybody. Stop talking to everyone. It's like, wait. That just can't happen.
I mean, it can because he's the majority owner. So
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That had to be in the contract.
What he says goes, basically.
Yeah, I mean, who would want to do business with that?
The even worse part is, hey, you guys have 40% of this team. You've paid me X amount of money. I believe it's like $600 million for 40% of the team, right? You've paid $600 million for 40% of the team, but you're not the majority owners, and I still am. So actually, you literally have no say in anything, but you don't get the money back.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's just a shady thing. And I mean, also part of his reasoning was well, now we're good, so now I don't want to sell the team. Okay, sure. But you can't make a contract and start, if it takes multiple years, I feel like you just have to honor that contract.
Well,
that's like an employer saying, hey, you're not, or anybody saying, hey, you're now, over 3 years, we're going to pay you XYZ. Well, you're really good now. We're not actually going to pay you. I'm going to take it on myself and pay someone else. It just doesn't make sense. Who now wants to do business with him? And he's 83 years old.
Well, yeah, he doesn't need much more business. He just got $600 million.
Yeah, it's a joke. He should pay it. He should give it back to him.
Well,
if you want to get out. But the thing is, like,
no, they don't want to get out because they believe that
they know the team's good.
No, Lori and A-Rod don't think that he's right, so they think that the contract will allow them to become the owners. That's what they believe.
Right, so, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying if this dwindles away and he stays the majority, and let's say he quote unquote wins, who's going to want to do business with him?
I mean, at that point,
he's a shady guy.
At that point, he won't need any more business.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, who's taking it over after him?
Probably his kids.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I mean,
that just is a bad look.
Yeah, it's not good. And personally, how
do you think the players think about it?
They probably won't say anything because they won't.
Well, they can't. But I'm just saying, like, if you were a player, how would you feel? I feel like when we went to the games and A-Rod and them were there.
Personally, I want them to be the owners.
Well, yeah, you'd want A-Rod and Mark Lloyd.
And
also, like they're cool guys.
Yeah, and you've seen that they're willing to make moves, and the moves that they're making are smart for the team. We're getting better. They're the ones behind the moves that are making us better. So, like, to me, that's all positive. I'm not trying to have somebody that's just sitting there watching the team dwindle away. So, like, my hope is that the situation can be resolved fairly quickly, even though I know that's probably not going to happen. It's going to be resolved at some point in the next 3 years or so. Mm-hmm. And then A-Rod and Mark Lowry take over, and we're good to go.
That's crazy.
That's my hope. Will that happen? Who knows? Will they get approved by the NBA? Who knows? But
this also says that part of the reason it also potentially could have fallen that the NBA didn't approve it, the final part of it.
That doesn't happen. That hasn't happened yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. They said that's what Taylor is saying, is that they didn't pay the rest of the money by March 27th. Lori and A-Rod are saying it's because the NBA hadn't formally approved their purchase.
Yeah, correct.
That's what
I said.
That's what I'm saying. So it potentially might not even be his fault. It might be, well, why would the NBA? I don't know.
No, so the way that it will work is there's a league meeting that's coming up. I believe it's next week. And that's when all the team ownership groups or representatives get together. And in theory, that's when they would vote to approve the new ownership group.
So it would have never happened by this March 27th date, right?
Well, it just depends. I mean, we don't know what's in the contract. If it's where it automatically triggers an extension so that the NBA has the time to go in, approve their new ownership at this league meeting, then they pay it's basically like whenever you're purchasing something at work, right? You have the net 60, net 120, net 30 days on invoices. Like, okay, these people have 30 days to pay this invoice. These people have 60 days to pay this invoice. And all of that is determined in the contract agreement between the two parties, right? So basically what A-Rod and Mark Lowry are saying is this contract, right? They submitted the invoice and the contract stated that they had terms of net 60. So they have 60 more days to pay this invoice that they submitted the documentation for.
As of March 27th.
Correct. Yes. And basically what Glenn Taylor is saying is, hey, no, the contract said that it was net, basically, date of invoice. So you have to pay the amount on the date of the invoice rather than net 60.
There's no net terms. It's net 1.
Well, date of invoice would be...
Yeah, so it's literally you pay. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so it just depends on what the contract is.
Yeah.
But I
mean, I also probably realized that it says in here that in December, the Wolves were valued at $2.8 billion.
Correct, yes.
Well, this deal was only for 1.5, so yeah.
It's almost doubled.
I mean, yeah. Decent.
So we'll see what happens, but hopefully it's quick and painless. It's not going to be, but hopefully it's as quick and as painless as possible.
Let's hope.
We'll see though.
It's crazy.
Last thing in the owner conversation talk is LeBron timeline started to come out. 1 to 2 years apparently.
That's what he said.
So we better enjoy it while we got it.
Yeah. I mean, do you think he'll still stay around?
Yes. So
somewhere.
this is the next part of it.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's very public knowledge that he wants to become an owner of some sort in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
And another layer to that is he wants to be the owner of a team in Vegas. So, this is my question. Do you think that the NBA has seen that or knows that, and they're waiting to expand until LeBron retires, and then they'll be like, hey, we're expanding. We're adding a team in Vegas and Seattle, and we're looking for ownership groups. Oh, LeBron, you just retired. Now you're going to be the owner of the team in Vegas, which is exactly what you want.
Yeah, I think it's
Do you think there's some things behind the scenes that are working like that?
Potentially. I think it takes a lot to actually expand leagues, but I think Vegas, I mean, I don't know, it's probably playing some part of it, but I mean, why wouldn't you want LeBron, the face of the NBA the last 10, 15 years, to be around the NBA still?
Right, so
especially
do you
in
think
Vegas.
They're waiting to expand the league until he retires so that can fall into place?
I think that's probably part of it, yes.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think they're going to, so I know Seattle was a talk, but do you think they would have a team go back?
Theory.
Well, is that illegal though? I don't think that's, I mean, you could easily work around that, or even conspiracy. I mean, it's smart for them. It's great business.
It's a conspiracy. It's conspiring.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with it.
No,
right?
Conspiracy theories don't have to be something wrong.
Do you think they're waiting for him?
I think that it has come up.
What does that mean?
I think it has come up in conversation. Maybe somebody that has a hand or knows somebody that has a hand in those types of decisions, or has access to Adam Silver in those conversations. I think that it's impossible to not know that is what LeBron wants. So
essentially they would not expand in at minimum 2 years.
Well,
or you're saying they will literally wait till he says, this is my last season.
I mean,
and then it's like, okay, we're expanding.
Maybe not. Maybe they know. Okay, he's saying 1 to 2 years. You never really know how long he's going to play, but he's told them, "Hey, I'm playing 2 years and I'm done."
Got it.
You know,
so
you never know what conversations have happened behind closed doors.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he's obviously the face of the NBA, like you said, 10, 15 years. So I mean, he's probably got Adam Silver's number. Not to say that
he's the face of the NBA.
Not to say that they're doing all these deals back and forth, but it would make sense that if that is going to happen, that they would at least communicate if LeBron knows. And obviously, it's not like a for sure. Hey, I'm doing 2 years, 2 years out. But
right.
If it's coming up to it, then you got to think that there's got to be some communication.
Yeah. Or even if it gets to a point where he retires, let's say he only does spend 1 more year, and then he retires. I mean,
He could have a year off.
You could easily start it up right then. He would find whatever to do.
Exactly.
Interesting. And you think so? Seattle's the other spot.
That's been
talked about.
Yes.
Wasn't that where the Wolves were going to move to?
Those are kind of the main two.
Okay. Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go back.
People want a team in Seattle. There's already a WNBA team out there.
Name them the Sonics again?
Maybe.
Or can you do that?
I think so, yeah.
Go back?
Yeah.
I mean, Vegas has to be the hot spot for you.
Vegas is easily number 1 spot.
Yeah.
But I think Seattle would be
decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, another West Coast team.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to add 2, right? You can't just have 1. Because you have to add an even number,
Yeah.
So would they both join the West then?
Well, yeah, that's what.
And then you have
that's what the talks were always, is that they would join the West and the Wolves and the Grizzlies would join the East.
Oh, okay, so we would move 2 for 2.
Correct.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Food for thought.
Yep. So,
yeah. Well, I guess we'll wait and see.
Something to think about. Get the mind working.
It's a lot of power.
But in the
LeBron
meantime,
James.
we are 1 week out for the 1.5, 2 weeks out technically from the playoffs starting, official playoffs starting. So,
yeah,
we'll talk to you later.
See ya. Peace.